All right, what is up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to the stream, Friday stream. I am very excited today. I got a lot to go through. We're going to do a 2-hour stream today because I have dinner plans later, so that's why we're doing it a little bit earlier today. So hopefully you guys enjoy what we go through. Let me know if the music volume's good. I got a little house playing. I want to get hyped because it's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Mega T Cash, welcome. Francois, welcome. Brian, welcome to the stream, guys. Hope I'm coming through loud and clear. I'm also in the middle of doing laundry, so I'm gonna have to sneak out for like 2 minutes and about 20 minutes to go throw in the dryer, but I'll be right back. All right, so let's talk about White Walkers, vampires. So last night, for those of you guys that were here, I decided to do super experimental. I was like, I want to do a vampire themed. Well, I bought this Cursed City box, or not Cursed City, Warcry box of the vampires, and I was like, I saw the Total War 3 trailer with the Kislev, and that immediately got my like brain flowing that like I wanted to do ice vampires. Originally I was gonna do like blood dragons for the vampires and like red armor, but what I noticed was everyone was doing this kind of like red blood dragon theme. So I was like, how do I do something different? And then basically I saw that I started thinking White Walkers from Game of Thrones, and I started thinking Kislev. So my thought was Kislev White Walkers, and I wanted to do something like totally different, like not a way that I normally paint. So last night on the stream, if you guys checked it out, we did this guy, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So this guy here. So this is basically a, I guess, my ice-themed vampire. So I basically wanted to do a super limited palette, very desaturated with very little color, but then just a few hints of color, like the red. There's like 3 parts where there's red. There's like this little part, this little red vial, and then there's like a little gem on his chest. You can't really see it here, but other than that, basically I did the whole thing in like very pale tones. And the other thing is the Cursed City bases actually look like ice. Like that's just the normal that's the normal Underworld's base, and I just basically painted it blue and did some ice effects, and it looks like ice. So my thought was, hey Con, thanks for joining. T-Man Cash, thanks for joining. So my thought was to do this ice base, and then keeping the palette very limited, very desaturated. I wanted it like thinking like, I actually was looking at White Walker pictures from Game of Thrones, thinking like, what would these guys look like if they were in the frozen north, basically. And I almost thought about, I don't know if you guys ever played Skyrim. Skyrim is like one of my favorite games, and basically in Skyrim there's like random vampire caves where like there's basically just like vampires that never see light. The other bit of color that I did was his eyes glow blue, so his eyes are glowing blue. I don't know if you guys can see that. And again, I wanted to harken back to the White Walkers, which have the white eyes, and then the ice weapons. So instead of doing like a regular weapon, I wanted ice weapons like White Walkers too. So I did kind of like an ice weapon basically. So it's like kind of frozen ice. So that's kind of the theme. So today we're going to be doing on the stream, we're going to be doing obviously every vampire lord needs a vampire wife. So I thought I would do the female vampire today on the stream. And then I already did the base, and this is the base right here. Let me know if you guys are interested in a tutorial on how to do this base. It was really simple. It's kind of hard to see because of the, it's a little, here, let me block off some of the light a little bit so you can see it. It's a lot more blue than it looks, but it's just, the light's really bright. Actually, maybe I can tone this down a bit. Just let's see here. How's that? Better? How's that? Okay, so that's a little bit better, a little bit less bright. So that's what the base looks like. So it's basically like this kind of icy base. I got some snow effects on there, a little bit of grass, and just very desaturated. So I've already done the base, and I kind of did that separate. Yeah, I just turned on the brightness. Sometimes I'd like, I forget that like what you guys see and what I see is different. So that's what we're gonna do today. So all I've done so far is I basically fully assembled the model, and I just did a base coat with this scale 75 fantasy games. It's called Hellbound Flesh. Now, one of the other challenges on my that I wanted to do yesterday was to paint with colors that I never paint with. So this Hellbound Flesh I've had for like 3 years, and I've just never used it because it doesn't have very good coverage. It's really like weird and thin, and I almost ruined this model because I had to do like 4 coats with my airbrush just to like cover the model. So this was actually quite challenging to like do lots of thin coats to get the airbrush going. So that's what we're gonna be working on today. And then yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna do what, 2 hours of painting. I don't think I'm gonna get it done in 2 hours. Yesterday, actually, this whole model, guys, from start to finish, even though we didn't know what we were doing, only took about 2.5 hours. And I did post some pictures, some finished pictures on my Instagram. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. I made a cool little video of the model. Let's see here. So is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. No, that's not the right one either. Where are you? Yeah, it was about 2.5 hours, so it's a fairly quick theme, I guess. Okay, here I'm gonna see. Let me know if you guys can see this. Just in 1 sec. 1 sec. I want to do Windows capture. No. Hold on. This is. Let's do. Window capture, right? We want VLC. And that's gonna be. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. 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 Here's the vid. Here's the vid. Very ghetto, but we're gonna show you guys. What, can you see that? That's really weird. It's not showing up. That's really weird. Okay, forget it then. Okay, well, it's not working. But anyways, check out my Instagram, JimboV_paints. I have the video on there, and I also have the stills of the model as well. Actually, I could just probably pull up my... Yeah, you know what, guys? Don't worry about it. I'm bad at tech, and doing this in a rush is going to take away from painting time, so let's just get into the painting. So what I'm going to start with is the skin. That's kind of what I did yesterday, just because it's like so deep in the model. And also, I have some things to talk about while we go through, so I'll talk through my steps as I go through. So first thing I'm going to be doing is a little bit of contrast, Teardown turquoise. Just like, this is basically what I did to the skin, super simple. Senior Spooky, thanks for subscribing. So a little bit of Teardown purple on the wet palette. Oh shit, I moved my wet palette. There we go. And then basically, I'm gonna make this super thin. So I'm actually using a little bit of airbrush thinner because I want there to be very little surface tension. And I want it to really kind of flow into the recesses. So you can see how, look how like, it's hard to see here, but it's very thin. Add a little bit of water. So I'm gonna do all the skin areas, which is basically here. And I want this like very, very light on the skin. And what the airbrush thinner helps it do is it really helps it flow into the cracks, and it doesn't really pool onto the main model. So that's why I like it. How's everyone else's Friday going? Anything exciting for the weekend? Okay, just getting on there on the arm. She actually doesn't have that much skin, like outside of the arms and the face. And the kind of the bosoms, I guess. Nice. So that's literally all the skin. It's just like her face there. And then I actually do, sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll keep the Games Workshop model up in my window. It's usually helpful to have the model up because you can basically tell kind of like, you can look at like different parts of it and see where certain surfaces start and stop. Especially on these small models, I find sometimes it's hard to really tell where like a certain area starts and stops. And so by looking at the GW model, it'll kind of tell me like what different materials are, like what's skin, what's cloth, what's armor, etc. So, and then the 360s are really helpful too. So I think that's it for skin. Yeah, so that's like this weird metal circlet thing. So that's it for skin, just those little parts. Okay, so I'll let that dry. Yeah. All right, so a few things, guys, for next week. We're streaming Monday to Thursday. There's no stream on Friday and Sunday like normal because I'm away camping. It's for the long weekend, so I won't be here. Also, we have Dan Miner on for our politics and plastic. So we're going to be discussing Dan. Most of you guys won't know Dan. He's not like a famous person, but he's basically been one of the bedrocks of the Vancouver, British Columbia Warhammer community for as long as I've played Warhammer. And to give you an idea of how long I've known Dan, when I was like 12 years old, 13 years old, and I was just starting Warhammer, Dan was like one of the adults that like helped me like learn how to play. You know, we used to play, I used to go to his house because he had a place to play. I remember like doing road trips with him. Like my very first tournament, I think I went with Dan. He's like much older. He's not much older than me, but I think he's like maybe 10 years older than me. So he's always been like this, like very big member of the community, important member of the community. And he runs a lot of the events in this region. So he runs West Coast GT. He helps out with the TACX, which is another big major. He helps out with, oh, get out of here, stupid bot. Oh no, ad block list. Get out of here. So he helps out with Wet Coast. He helps out with T-Shift, Grand Term. He also runs Cruise Hammer. I don't know if you guys have heard of Cruise Hammer, but that is like it's literally what it sounds like. It's a Warhammer thing on a cruise that I'm going to be going to next year. So we're going to talk about that. But he's been running events basically in British Columbia, tournaments, for about 20 years. And we're going to be talking basically about whether or not TOs should make money or how much we should be, like basically we're going to be talking about the finances of tournaments. So things like, should TOs be making money? How much tickets should be, how much profit should be made, should we be paying judges, the real finances like profit and loss of an event, all of the things that go into like sometimes people don't want to talk about because they just think like, oh, I want perfect terrain, I want amazing mats, I want a great venue. Hey Jinja, I'm gonna just call you Jinja Steve. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. So we're gonna be talking about kind of all the things that like are kind of like the unspoken stuff around tournaments organization, which is like I firmly believe tickets should need to be more expensive for tournaments because like if you look at it right now, players are basically saying, oh, we want like perfect terrain, lots of terrain, we want mats, we want perfect venues, we want all this stuff. And then they're like, oh yeah, but we also want to pay $30 for a ticket and you have to make all the terrain yourself, the TO. So it's just like if you look at like the finance, the math of tournaments, it just doesn't make sense for the player expectation and what the TOs are charging. So we're really going to dive deep into like that whole topic and really talking about whether like, hey, should TOs make a profit, right? Like if I'm a TO and I spend 100 hours to build tables of terrain, right? Should I be being paid for that 100 hours? I mean, it seems to make sense, right? I should make money like equivalent to the 100 hours I spent on terrain. So we're going to talk a lot about that. That's going to be really interesting on Tuesday. Monday, we have Competitive Corner, so make sure to tune that in. And then Wednesday, I'll be doing a hobby stream. And then Thursday, it'll be Best Overall Shows back. David Koscott, my co-host, was away last week, so we're hoping to be back next Thursday. Yeah, that's kind of the stream schedule, stream things happening next week. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. All right, so let's take a look at our model. What do we got here? Guys, if you haven't, and I was gonna say I don't like to plug myself, but actually I do. If you're watching on Twitch, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube. We're so close to 1,000 followers, which is huge for the channel. I think I need another 100 or so, or 75. And then if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to check out the Twitch channel because they're both different platforms. They have advantages and disadvantages, but I'm trying to kind of work with both platforms, do content for both platforms. I know that's probably a bad idea, but I really want to make sure that I have a lot of options and that people can kind of catch me. So, Steve, I'm just going to call you Steve because I think it's Jinja, and Jinja Steve is weird. I don't know if it's Jinja or basically it's both. I actually stream to both simultaneously. I'm doing some edited content for YouTube on top. So I've done 3 painting videos at this point. I'm doing another painting video for Death Guard pretty soon. I'm gonna probably get away from doing painting videos in the future because I find that there's just so many good painters on YouTube. And I don't want to, like, it's just really hard to compete in that market. But I'm gonna be doing, because I do a little commission painting on the side, so I'm gonna actually be doing a series called, it's gonna be basically called, it's like the Commission Diaries, and it's basically gonna be like a 10-part series of me painting 5,000 points of Dark Angels as a project all at once. And I'm gonna be basically doing a video series on how I approach a commission like that. Everything from like the planning stages to assembly to mass, like kind of mentally getting through it, to like all the different things that kind of go into doing a large commission. How I break it down, sub assemblies, all these kinds of things, and then just showing people kind of the behind the scenes of like commission painting. I'm not by any means like a very I'm not by any means a like busy commission painter. I only take very few projects. I only do it on the side because I like to paint my own stuff. Fuck other people's stuff. And I do it mostly to help pay for like my camera, right? Like that my hobby channel is paid for by my commission painting. And I want my hobby to kind of pay for itself. So Duplicity Paint Studio is my paint commission studio, but like I have this one Dark Angels commission, but I'm not taking any more, and a Bellacore commission, but I'm not taking any more commissions right now. All right, so let's get into the skin. So I'm gonna start the skin while I talk. Burster, hey man, how's it going? Welcome. T-Man Cash, yeah. So it's gonna be, here's the thing, and you guys gotta understand. I just started YouTube / streaming like in March, I think. So I have probably 2 months of like learning shit under my belt. And before that, I'd never used Photoshop really, never used Adobe Premiere. So once I figured out how to just do basic streaming, I've now been teaching myself Premiere, teaching myself Photoshop, trying to figure out and like learning those. And so I've done 3 edited videos, and like, you know, they're not the best videos you've seen, but like I'm happy with, like, I guess I'm proud of them, I guess, because I've totally self-taught myself how to use those programs, and I'm just using it as this opportunity to like learn stuff, which has been really fun, and like learning streaming and all that stuff. And so this series that I want to do on like the commission, it's like very intimidating to me because it is like a huge amount of work, and I'm still trying to figure out like even how I want to film it, right? Like, do I film it like more story? Do I do it more of like a kind of narrative thing? Do I do more like utility where like I actually show you what I'm doing? Or is it more kind of just, I think I'm gonna do it more kind of like almost like a blog a little bit. Oh, how'd it go, Tom? Hey, Tom. And where it's like more just like my thought process and my approach rather than like, hey, here's this technique. I'm sure I'll have some technique stuff, but it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a series where like you watch to like learn how to paint, you know? It's gonna be more of like kind of getting into the mind of me and like how I approach this huge project. You guys should see the amount of stuff I have. Like, it's like, I'm gonna do a teaser video for it next week, and I have boxes, like 10 feet of boxes basically. Predicted a 4 to 7, got an 8, easy clap. Sorry, who got the 8? Tom? Death Guard? Hey guys, I'm just gonna do this first highlight on the skin, and then I gotta run off and throw my stuff in the dryer here, but don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Yeah, I honestly, when you told me that match, I was like, I think the Grey Knights win that, to be honest. Who? Hey, Shane. Sorry, who was playing? Were you playing one of the armies, Tom? Yeah. Well, okay. Obviously you won then. Come on, Tom. You're was it against one of your teammates, or was it against just like a random person? Okay, don't make fun of me. You're from Wales, right? That's correct. Yeah, okay. Is that what they call them, Welsh? But do you live in Wales or do you live in England? Oh, you live in England. I know that because you're just telling that you went to Warhammer World the other day. That's dumb of me to ask. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go throw my clothes into the to the dryer. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry. All right, so where were we at? Skin. So what I'm doing for the skin basically is I'm doing my base coat color, which is this, and I'm adding olive flesh from Paracro. Hey, thanks Jinja for the gift sub. Man, now you're giving him access to emotes. What am I gonna do now? I appreciate that. I think you're like my second gift sub ever, so I really appreciate that. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some more of this flesh color and basically just work that in. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks everyone else. Welcome if you're tuning in on Twitch and or YouTube. Welcome to the stream. All right, so anyways, so we're playing so Tom, I'm playing AdMech with my I gotta send you my Zinch list. We're playing Greece right now actually in for WTC practice, Team Canada. We're doing a scrim match, and they were like, we don't want you to play Death Guard. They're like, we don't want you to play Death Guard. We want you to play, or like whatever you want, like play like a blocker chaos list. So I wrote kind of just a random. They're like, and they said, I don't know, like I'm okay with playing. Like obviously, if the team wants you to play a list, you play the list, right? But I don't know. There's something that just never sits right about like me net listing for. Hey Burster, welcome to the chat, man. Welcome, thanks for joining. Yeah, there's something about like when like the team's like, here's a list that we like, go play it, or play like very similar. I don't know, it just feels very like unoriginal. Like I get the whole net listing like approach, but I don't love it. You know, I liked, and I know everyone can't be like an original snowflake, but so anyways, I'm playing this chaos list with like 2 Leviathans and like Lord of Change and like horrors and like summoning, like 300 points of summoning. So we'll see how it goes. I don't love, I don't know. I don't love it. Yeah. No, Hakon, the match I have not scheduled yet, to be honest. The Greece guys are 10 hours ahead of me, which is like super annoying. So I've been kind of avoiding scheduling it. And because we're not in like any sort of event, we have a lot of time to play it. So I probably won't play it for a little over a week because I'm away next weekend. Yeah, it's hard to say because I find that it depends on how much damage you can, like the Grey Knights have just enough range damage, right? And if your PVCs pop off and can pick up like Paladin squads, it's actually really scary. But like PVCs are so, I find they're so streaky. They're so like swingy, I find sometimes. I wish there were 2d3 shots or something like that. So it's like if your PVCs pop off and you get like 5 to 6 shots, you can wipe whole squads of like Paladins off. But then if you get like 1 shot and like you miss with your entropy cannons, it's like, cool, I killed one Paladin, right? But it's very swingy. Burster says, I'm playing Alpha Legion and I have to jump 50 and I don't know if I should have 3 more blitz. Well, Burster, what's in your current list? Tell me that and I will give you some advice. Yeah, that's the thing with Death Guard though, is like they even 6 turns of like PVC shooting at a single unit of Paladins, which is like not probably the best use of them. You might not kill them all, right? Like, or you just barely kill 1 unit. And because Death Guards, I find Death Guard so slow, it's like really hard to like, you might maybe get 1 out of 3 while we stand targets. If the opponent doesn't want you to kill their while we stand with Death Guard, you won't kill them because you just can't get to them, right? They can just kind of like basically cut you around the table. So just hitting the very highlights here on the cheeks. Just brushing the boobs. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. I honestly, man, I haven't played it a lot of Grey Knights. Like in all of 8th. I think I played them like twice, and that was with my like old Plague Bear list, where I'd be like, cool, kill a whole unit of Plague Bears or Bloodletters, and then I remember playing one game where I brought a single unit of Bloodletters back 3 times. It was disgusting. Yeah. So I haven't played them much in 9th edition, so I always forget like half their shit. Steve, if you want, leave it. Yeah, we leave a question or on the Competitive Corner, last episode of Competitive Corner in the comments, and I answer all those questions the following week. So track down the last episode of Competitive Corner and leave a question in the comments, or just send me a DM on Duplicity Studios Instagram or my personal Instagram, JimboV_paints, and I'll answer it on Monday's whatever like list questions or tech questions you have. I'll answer on Monday's episode of Competitive Corner, when that's with Alex as well. Yeah, we should just play a normal game, to be honest. We don't need to wait for some scrim. Okay, so now I'm gonna go armor stuff. Have fun, dude. League of Legends? Okay, so now I'm gonna work on the armor. So the skin's basically done, guys. I don't know if you can see. I might go back, and this is one kind of tip I would give you. When you're doing skin and you're not sure how bright to take it, get it to kind of like 90% of where you think you want it. Finish the model, and then at the very end, look at kind of like the total contrast, and increase that contrast to the skin or add a little bit of shadow, and to kind of finish it off, right? So that way, if you really want the skin to pop, or if you're happy with that level of contrast, you can leave it there. Yeah, with one thing with Havoc's Burster is you always want to go like, it's very rare that I mix and match weapons in Havoc squads. So I would either go 4 las cannons or 4 rocket launchers, but very rarely do I do 2 and 2. I mean, if I were you, dude, I'd probably throw in some cultists. No, dude, that's a great question. Let me know, like, that's a totally fine question. We get all sorts of questions on the show. Like, some are very like basic and some are more advanced. So happy to answer that. You should. Our last episode, there was like people that had never even been to tournaments, and they're like, "What do I do? Where do I go?" So yeah, no problem. Just throw it in the chat there, and I'll answer it next week on the show. Okay, so I'm doing the armor now, and for the armor, basically, I'm doing the base coat color again, and I'm just adding a little bit of titanium white from Pro Acryl. So that's going to be the armor highlight. Yeah, I really like Alpha Legion Cultists because, shit. I like Cultists in general, to be honest. They're good screen troops. They're pretty solid still, although a little bit expensive. Because you can use a forward deployment on them. So like turn 1, you can move them up to, I think it's 9 inches now. So you can get them on an objective pretty early and kind of take the board. If you're playing a really fast army like Drukhari, that's really helpful to kind of get on an objective early. and draw them out. Gunlock, thanks for the following, man. But for the last 500 points, I mean, I would look into maybe adding another, like, I think Terminators are really good right now. They're super good value. You mentioned you have a Term Lord, so maybe add another 5 Terminators, bump it up to 10. Terminators are just, for the points right now, they're one of the best valued Chaos units, in my opinion. And then if you want a little bit of tech that I really like, I'll tell you in a second. So one of the pieces of tech that I really like with Alpha Legion is hey Jen, how's it going, man? Welcome to so one of the pieces of tech that I really like with Alpha Legion is you take a Terminator Sorcerer, you give him a Combi Plasma, and then you give him the Headhunter Warlord trait, and then you give him there's a relic which makes his weapon automatically hit, right? So it's a bolt weapon only, so Combi Plasma counts, and it makes that weapon hit automatically. And then what you do is you put him with your Terminators, right? So he can drop down. So check this out. He can drop down, double tap his Combi Plasma at 24 inches because he's a Terminator. I think that's how it works, right? Terminators, oh no, is it Terminators can always shoot at full? It's only bolters, right? It's not the plasma. Anyways, he can double tap his plasma gun, and because he auto hits, you overcharge it, so you're getting a double tap of the overcharge, right? And it auto hits. And because he has Headhunter, he can pick out characters. So you basically drop him down with your Terminators, pick a character that they have, double tap him, overcharged with the plasma gun. That's 2 strength 8, I think damage 2. And then if you need to, you can use Endless Cacophony on him and do it again. So he can potentially get 4 strength 8, AP 3, 2 damage plasma guns that pick out characters. And against, in the current meta right now, where like characters are really strong, and he's only, that model is only like 115 points. He's super cheap. Yeah, so he can do a lot of damage, and he's actually really, and then obviously you give him like Prescience and or Delightful Agonies to throw in your Terminators, and that whole like little squad can be like very, very like scary. So I like that quite a bit. Jen, thanks for tuning in, man. What am I doing? Oh, it's too bright. Scary vessel. I'm not scared. What's scary? What scariness do you want? Also, Burster. Yeah, don't worry, there's more of that coming. Just keep in mind, because the Chaos Codex is not out, I wouldn't go too crazy into one thing. Like, you know Terminators are going to be good, because all the Terminators have gotten a lot better with the 3 wounds. So I'd make sure you have like a good brick of 10 of those. Obliterators, I'm hoping stay good and get good. Your demon engines are also going to get better, right? Like if all the demon engines go to weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, like the Death Guard ones did, those are going to be a lot better. So maybe grab one of those. The big thing is though, I wouldn't overinvest in any one type of unit right now, just because I think Chaos Marines will kind of stay average. I don't think they're going to be great. Yeah, but maybe if you need a few demon engines, maybe I'd invest in those. I just hope Venom Crawlers get a model where you can buy it normally and not have to buy a $100 kit to get them. I'd settle for that at this point. Venom colors are just so bad. Like, I don't... The fact that, like, they give you summoning bonuses and summoning is just, like... Yeah, I don't know. The rules are just so bad. I had one, and I cut it up to use as bits for my Sarpedon conversion for my Soul Drinkers. So we'll see. Is that Hekon? Is that like because of my cutting up my Venom collar? Is that what that's for? That emote? Hey, thanks for gifting the sub, Steve. No man, Sarpedon man, he's a lackey of Zinj. You should be stoked. It's probably one of my probably not the best painted model that I've done because I painted him quite quickly, but he's probably one of my most involved conversions I've ever done. And probably one of my favorite models where I literally had a vision for it, and I just was really happy with how he turned out. See ya, Steve. Thanks again, man. Tune in next week, man. Appreciate it. I know, guys, I know it looks like not a lot's happening right now, but I'm basically doing the first highlight layer on the armor. And basically this technique is, it's kind of what I do in my Death Guard, which is I go in with, I've got a little bit of the Hellbound Flesh plus white, which is right here on my palette. And I'm doing kind of like striations on the armor. And then when it's done, it'll have this kind of effect, this kind of like textured streaky effect. You can't really tell the first few times, like the first time you do it, it doesn't really show up. So that's why it doesn't look like anything's happening. But trust me, by the time you get to like the third or fourth layer, it really starts to build up, and it really starts to kind of become a lot more obvious, the striations. Do I want that? I don't want that. I guess that's gonna be cloth. You can kind of see it, but it's hard to tell. Trust me, it's there. Yeah. That's a good question, Jin. I mean, I'm enjoying it because I get to do what I already love, which is hobby, and I'm connecting with community. I'm a very impatient person, right? So like I have 13 people watching, and I'm like 16 people watching between YouTube and Twitch right now, and like I'm so thankful for everyone that's tuning in right now. And like if you look at a lot of like stories of like people that start streaming, it's like some people stream for like a year and they get like one person watching, and it's like their mom. So I've been super like grateful for like the people that have tuned in, and like it's been, I feel like for how long I've been doing it, which is 2 months, I'm actually doing really well as far as like I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube, like 300 or so Twitch, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not a lot in the grand scheme of like Twitch and YouTube, but for like a brand new content creator that's like just starting out, just like, you know, trying to figure out my lane, I think it's great. And from all like I guess, even objective measures, people are saying that's like awesome, because a lot of people take like years to like build to that. So I'm really happy there. YouTube, the YouTube side of it has been a lot harder than I thought. Sorry, not harder, but I guess, well, it's been harder and more time consuming. So the way it's been harder is that I've been teaching myself how to edit videos, and that, although it's been fun, it's been like very time consuming. Like even one like YouTube video might take me like 8 to 9 hours of editing. Sorry, between filming, so I gotta film it, which might take 3 to 4 hours to actually paint the model, and then editing, getting all the footage, editing thumbnails, sound effects, like all the things. Like we were talking like 10 to 15 hours just on like a 10-minute, 20-minute YouTube video. Streaming though is like this. What I'm doing is like, it's so simple. Is why it's like really fun. So in a perfect world, and that's why I'm like really enjoying the conversations I've been having with people, like on the various shows. Like I just miss talking 40K and Warhammer in general. So that's been really fun. I mean, there's lots of positives, but I just have a lot of pressure on, I put a lot of pressure on myself to excel at things. And so that part of me is like very impatient with this whole thing. And I want it to be like, tomorrow I want to be like the next like Casey Neistat, which is not obviously a thing, but obviously I'm not going to be Casey Neistat. But, and it's Warhammer, so it's a very niche hobby. But yeah, so it's been good though. I've been really enjoying it. I'm probably going to, for the streaming, I'm probably going to, yeah. Well, I asked him and he basically said to ask Liam. That was his advice. He's like, I don't know anything. He's like, ask Liam. So, so I just added a little bit more white to my mix here, guys. And now I'm going to do the next kind of layer of the highlight, and you'll probably start to see it come through. It's been really cool, like meeting, connecting with community, I guess. That's been the thing, and that's its own reward. Like, I'm not doing this. I didn't start doing this because I want to make money off it. Like, that's not really my interest. Someone actually even asked me today if I have a Patreon, and I was like, no, and I don't know if I ever will. Because I really want to just keep it completely, I guess. Like, I mean, obviously people can sub on like Twitch and stuff. And like, eventually my YouTube will probably be monetized through just like the regular YouTube stuff once I have enough followers. But like, I don't want to turn this into something where like, sorry, let me rephrase. I never want to put a barrier entry for the content that I make. So I want always my content to be 100% accessible to everyone. There's no paywall to like me see the content that I'm doing. If in the future people want to like donate, that's great. But like, I have a full-time career job that like keeps me busy, that pays my bills. So I don't need it, right? It's not for that. Obviously if people want to show support, that's amazing. But like, I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm not doing it to like, you know. So, but I mean, who knows? Things might change. I'm sure the PlayOn guys didn't think that like they would blow up as much as they did, so. I'm excited for my PlayOn video to come out, because the one that they just dropped, the Kaiju battle they teased today, I think that's the like last one, and then my video comes out after that. So I'm excited for you guys to check out that game. It'll probably not be till like June though. I talked to Tack, he said June. But we'll see. Okay, I'm just gonna actually fix up a few spots on this guy. I didn't varnish this guy, and I like handled him a little bit, and like the paint just started to rub right off. So I'm just going. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Just wait till my OnlyFans. Shane. It'll just be me in bed with a bunch of models, basically. I'm gonna just start doing hot tub streams with models. What do you guys think? Hot tub painting streams? That'd actually be the funniest thing ever. Yeah, so my immediate goals of the channel are basically just to oh, fuck yeah, Jind. I've had... So, in my last... I guess since 2019, when I was... my big tournament year, I think I played over 100 games in that year, just in tournaments. And I had 3 games in that 100, so around... Which is like less than 3%, which is, I think, pretty good. Where I wanted to punch the guy across the table and walk away from the game. I could name... The funny thing is like, people always ask me about my favorite game, and I'm like, it's not the games that are the best that I remember, it's the games that are the worst. And so those 3 games, like, they're burned into my memory, how awful they were, and like, I'll never forget those games and those opponents. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know Arya on Game of Thrones, where she's got the like list of names? I have like the list of names in here for like those 3 players. I can tell you exactly who they are. I know them. It's burned into... I couldn't tell you every other player I played, even the really good games, but I could tell you those 3 players that I played in those 3 games. And I could tell you the story of those games like they happened yesterday, because they're that like I don't know, intense, I guess. But yeah, I've definitely had those games. So you guys can start to see the armor coming together, the light, like the color on the armor, starting to pick up a bit more, the metal. So I'm gonna add a little bit more white, and I'm gonna go in for like the final highlight now. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller brush. I've always been competitive in general. Like, when I played sports, I was competitive. Like, yeah, everything I do, I generally am pretty competitive in it. Like, I played a lot of PC games competitively. When I used to play EverQuest, I was like in a world, I was in like one of the top rating guilds of the world. When I played sports, I was like very, very competitive. Like, I played hockey. Well, I don't play hockey much anymore, but I was the goalie, so I played goalie in hockey. I was the goalie that would be shouting from the other end of the rink the entire game. Like, hey, like, go, like screaming at the ref, screaming at the other team, screaming at the other thing. Like, that my team, like, telling him what to do, telling him to hustle, telling him to, like, all this stuff. That was me as the goalie, always just shouting. What do you think of the guy who got cheating in the tournament? How do you think of it flexing on the scene? So I know TJ Lanigan very personally. I've played him probably 3 or 4 times in tournaments. I'll answer your question in 2 parts. What do I think of him cheating? Ooh, how do I say this without being salacious? I'm not surprised, and he's tried to do that. He tried to do that stuff on me before, that kind of cheating. But I'm very vigilant, and I caught him, so he didn't actually get to cheat against me. And then when I kind of confronted him, he kind of played it off as like forgetfulness, or like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, like that was that kind of attitude. So I guess I never let myself get cheated by him, although I think a few times he's definitely pushed hard. So I wasn't surprised when this all came down, because he's that kind of person. And he acts really nice, and he uses that niceness to Jim, I don't color my beard. It's he uses that niceness to mask his like actions, I guess, so that you're too busy like talking to him and hearing him be nice and stuff to focus on like the shady shit he's doing. Because usually you'd think like the jerks would cheat, but actually he used his like personality to help like sell that he was just like a innocent player, you know. And then as far as how do I think it reflects on the hobby as a whole, I don't really, to be honest, because it's, you know, like, here's the thing. He's out. He got basically kicked out, which means the system's working, right? So if he had been allowed to continue or with very little consequence, that would have been bad on us, because that would have showed that, like, you can cheat with impunity. But the fact that he got caught and was basically like tarred and feathered and kicked out means the system's actually working. Like things work the way that they should have. And you know, I just hope that you know, it sucks to be him in some ways. I don't feel bad for him. You know, he made those decisions. But like, yeah, I think yeah. So I don't think he deserves like some of the death threats and stuff. I think that's totally ridiculous. But yeah, it is, man. But like, you got to remember, guys like TJ and like they're making money, and their name, their value, they value themselves based on their tabletop ability, right? Like that's what they think is important to them. So once you're in that mindset of like I win, or I should be winning, it really starts to skew your judgment, you know? Like you start to think believing yourself that you deserve to win, that, you know, people that are that you shouldn't be losing games. Hey guys, that's the armor, check it out. Hey Peter, boondoggle bagwaggle. I'm gonna do the hair white because I want like, I'm gonna do it like very white, like gray white. I want it like very White Walker-ish, so full white hair. That's the whole point. No, this is a snot buggy bing boggle, Peter. Do you have one of those to paint along? Yeah, I am very much a fluff guy. Yeah, I am very much a fluff guy. Yeah. I am very, I just finished Alfarius, the book with, I just finished Alfarius by Mike Brooks. It's fucking awesome, guys. Like, that's the first of the Primarch books that I've read, and it's like really fucking cool. So I'm very tempted to pick up more of the Primarch books. And now I'm starting Luther, the book by Gav Thorpe. That's gonna be the next one that I read. So, I love the background. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Well, the Alfarius book's cool because it's like, okay. No worries, man. Okay, I can give you guys a minor spoiler. The last line of the Alfarius book, it's like a 6-hour audiobook. The last line is basically like, that was a lie. Like, and so you're like, don't know. You're like, fuck, what? And it's like, yes, Alpha Legion, it's awesome. Oh, I don't care about that. When it comes to gaming, I don't, look, here's the thing, Jind, and this is like my honest truth. I actually find that the army, like, I play Chaos, and like, the way that Games Workshop writes the background means that like the army lists that we build are actually less flavorful than they should be. So like if you look at any stories with Chaos, for instance, what do you see? You see cultists, beastmen, demons, a few Chaos Space Marines. You see like all sorts of random shit thrown in there, right? You see all sorts of different things thrown in there, but in the game you're like, oh, it's Chaos Space Marines, right? So I actually think like the way that I play Chaos Soup, I actually think it's very like thematic, you know what I'm saying? And then on the same time, you can basically come up with any thematic reason to justify anything. You just gotta forge your own narrative, man. Like I can come up with a creative story on how to build any list in my head. And that's the cool thing about the game is like you come up with your own headcanon, right? Your own fluff. Dude, Floor Sweepers Union, man, you're stealing my idea. That's my Vortex Beast you're painting. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do the what am I gonna do? Like the cloth color, I guess? Which I don't know what color I want. Like all the body glove color. I don't think I should do it the same as the straps. So that's gonna be the blonde color. I can't do it green because I've already done that for the armor, the green and white. And then that's the skin color. So what could I do for that color? I could, oh yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it like I did the bone on the other model because there's no bone here. So I'm gonna basically take some very, this is light umber from Proacryl. So I'm gonna make like a very, very light wash, super thin out of this light umber. No, I'm gonna do like a very faint, like almost like bone. Like, oh, it's almost bone yellow. You can see how light this is. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of, I think, just a touch of blue in it. I don't know, like this is the fun thing about this model. Like I don't really know how to paint it, and I'm just kind of experimenting. So let's just put a touch of this blue in there. Oh no, that's really gross looking. It's kind of like a gray color. I don't like that. It's kind of gross. Okay, let's think, Jim. So for this model, I did all the cloth and the bone. I guess I could do the cloth. The problem is with this, there's like this under body glove here, which is like basically her tights. And then there's the corset, which is here, which I want probably that cloth color. But this underneath body, and then the corset and the gloves will match. But for the, and then the tabard here will match the corset and the gloves. But this underneath body glove color, I need to figure it out. What do you guys think? Should I do gray maybe? Like a very thin gray wash? Maybe that'll work. Let me see here. Maybe I go like rust gray. Like that kind of rust gray. How do I like the emerging shape of 9 as we get more books out? I mean, it's hard to tell, dude. It's not quite clear what the meta, like the game's gonna look like, and like, yeah, everything's just so delayed. It's really hard to tell. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go this blue. See how thin this is, guys? I just want the slightest tint of blue, this kind of gray blue. And then just a touch of water. Okay, let's try this out. I think I need a bit more pigment in there. It's almost too, it's hard to see. Okay, just give me 1 sec. I'll answer your question in a sec. I just let me do this one step here. It's fairly finicky. And I don't want to screw it up. Okay. I think this is the way. So I want something a little bit that gives a little bit of separation from the other two colors. Okay, our chest area here. Oh shit. And then, oh, Javier, thanks for subscribing, man. Wherever that was. Okay, almost done. Okay, and then I just need to get our gloves. I believe, sorry, the body glove here. Because the gloves themselves are going to be blonde, I think. Or is it, let me look at the model really quick. Is it one, oh, it's all one color. Okay, that's fine. Okay, if it's all one color, I'll do it in the blue. I'll do it in the blue. All right, so what are the questions here? Floor Super Union, thoughts on the off-meta Zangor Enlightened coming up in, what's NZL? I don't know what NZL is. New Zealand? Are you in New Zealand? Yeah, the new Jin, the new vampires, they're like they're so pretty. Like I literally that's awesome, dude. Welcome from Canada to New Zealand. I bought this box set of the 4 vampires from Warcry. I don't play Warcry and I don't play Age of Sigmar, but these are they're just 2 cool models that I couldn't not paint them, you know. I'm thinking of starting a vampire army for Age of Sigmar. So this is probably going to be the start of that. But I don't play it currently. And I don't need 4 vampires, that's for sure. So this right now is just like literally a fun project for me. There we go. And I will highlight it, so it's going to be less blue, I guess, than it looks. But I'm just getting on the kind of early coats. So I will go up a little bit of blue. I'll be right back. Got a beer because it's Friday, so I thought I'd enjoy myself a beer. Don't have to Google how this subs thing works. So the way it works is once you get enough, once you become an affiliate, which is what I am, you're able to get, people can subscribe to your channel for like $4.99 basically, and then you get Twitch gets some, and then you get some. But like, yes, I'm drinking a Heineken. It's all I had in the fridge. Don't make fun of me. It's leftover from from a party night the other night. So that's what we're drinking. Okay. So. Okay. Enjoy that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brighten up my my blue, I guess. And I'm gonna use some bright warm gray for that. So this is bright warm gray from Proacral. Okay, so let's see here. Dude, I got shit-faced after I got my shot last week. Like I went for hard for 2 days, both days. I got my shot on the Friday, got super drunk that night, and then went out on Saturday and got super drunk. So I don't know, I was fine. I think I'll be fine. But I'm not a medical expert. Disclaimer. You're gonna take medical advice from me. Just going back and doing one more glaze of this blue, just to help strengthen it a bit. It's a little bit weak in some areas. Yeah, I guess you gotta actually physically get there, right? Can't be like too drunk to drive. Okay, so let's do some highlighting. I know it looks quite blue on camera, guys, but once I'm done with the highlighting, it's gonna be quite pale, and you're only gonna just see like a hint of the blue. That's the goal, anyways. And then I might have to go back and fix up some of the armor as well, just because I got a little bit of overspill. So this first highlight I'm doing kind of choppy. I'm kind of almost like wet brushing it because I want it kind of everywhere. I don't need to be super careful. Except the very small like crevasses. I keep saying crevasses. Is it crevices or crevasses? Okay, so next I'm gonna add a bunch of my white here, my gray. That's kind of closer to the color that I want. This is the first time I'm using this brush. It's a Baumwick by Monument Hobbies. I don't even remember where I got it from. But for this as well, what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of a stippling technique. This is going to give it like kind of a leather look. So you'll see here, I'm kind of like pushing and pulling a little bit, trying to get some texture. This will help kind of break it up just because it is like pretty similar to the other textures. So that's going to help add texture. Just like that. What do you guys think of the Imperial Guard models, or the Imperial Fist Praetors today that they previewed. You guys, anyone like those models? Also, does anyone know what the fuck's going on with Horus Heresy? I keep hearing rumors of like a plastic box set and like they're gonna like relaunch it, but I don't know. The game just seems like on life support, you know? It seems like they don't know what to do with it, you know? Ever since what's his name passed away, Alan Bly, the like cordial guy, it kind of feels like the game's been completely lost. And like the release schedule's so glacial. Like, does anyone actually play it, or do people just use the models for 40k? Does any of you guys play? Anyone in the chat play Heresy? I'm interested to know. It just feels like it's past its time now in the 7th edition rule set, you know? Like, they really need to update the rules and move it to 8th edition. In my opinion. It just seems like, yeah, I don't know what the point of the game is at this point. Especially because, like, it's still using the old rules, right? So one of the I want to say one of the tricks, speaking as if I've done this before, but if you're doing a model like this where it's very like monotone, there's not a lot of contrast, by doing this like texturing, I'm kind of stippling here, you can add like, I guess, interest to the model without actually like, you know, having a lot of high contrast, because this model is like so low contrast, everything looks so samey, that it's like you want a little bit of interest for the eye, and so by kind of doing this like stippling technique, it kind of adds texture to the paint and to the areas, but like without actually doing much, you know? It just creates kind of like that leathery look. Just like that, okay? Hard to tell on camera, because it's like, I don't know, can you guys tell on camera? Let me see here. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's there, trust me. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna base coat all the blonde areas. I call them blonde, the flesh, the kind of cloth areas. So I'm gonna go really thin here. So this is olive flesh from Proacryl. Hey, Monument Hobbies, if you guys are listening, send me stuff through product, because I order your paints. It looks stronger, both the green and the blue. Like, it looks stronger? I don't understand what you mean by that. Yeah, as you add different colors and like you start to pick out the different areas, everything's gonna start to kind of be a little bit more defined, right? I just did a whole episode on sponsorships, and then I just told Monument Hobbies to send me free stuff. Am I a hypocrite? No, because I'm not. I wouldn't be. I like their stuff independent, so I'm not gonna review it either. So they're just gonna send me free stuff, and I'm gonna like it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's like it's morally like great to take, like, it's one thing to do like a product review where it's like, I'm doing a product review, here's the review, here's like my paid review of this product. I don't actually mind that. What I don't like is the like, hey, I can't talk about this product honestly because I'm worried that I'm not going to get future products, you know? Like, do you think if every time you got if GW was giving you free product, if every time you got their product, you were like honest about it, do you think you'd ever get stuff again? You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. Because there's lots of companies that like will continue to send you stuff as long as it's an honest review. Hardware companies are like that, right? Like if you do like a benchmark on like a new CPU or something and it's not the greatest, well, it's like, you know, they'll still send you product and hardware if you're like on their like influencer list. Augustin Reinhardt. Hey man, how's it going? Welcome to this chat. But yeah, so anyway, so I'm curious. I don't feel like GW has that level of like openness, I guess. Like they want only people that are gonna fanboy and like drink Kool-Aid. They don't want like honest reviews, they just want like good reviews. And they want people to like market for them. You know? Whoa. Hey, thanks, man. Did you airbrush the base coat? Which restaurants have you been to? GW's never gifted me anything, and I don't think they ever will. So I airbrushed this color as the base coat. It's called Hellbound Flesh, but everything else is my brush. I did this guy. This is the scheme I'm going with. I did this guy last night on stream. So it's kind of like an ice snow theme. So it's very desaturated, very limited palette. Oh, that's cool, man. Thanks for supporting. All right, so okay, let's see. That's good. Okay, so now like that. But yeah, so I don't know. My problem is like I value my integrity too much. Like if something's bad, like the GW app, I would tell you it's bad, and I wouldn't like sugarcoat it. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it's like kind of good or whatever. I just like, no, this is a bad product. Do not purchase this product. I don't think GW wants that. You know, same with like the various like some of the stuff that they come out with. And I think the people that do those reviews, and this is kind of what I was talking about, they're like, they're trapped, right? They're like, they can't not say anything bad, because as soon as they do, they're gonna lose their access, right? So it's like you're basically censoring yourself for access, and I think that's really unethical, actually. I think it's unethical on GW to only have relationships with people who will basically praise them. I think that's unethical. And then I think it's unethical for people to enter in a relationship where you're basically in a hostage situation, you know? I think, I mean, now whether or not, I don't think anything like, okay, so let me be really clear though. Like, if I think it's unethical, it's because it's like against my values. But like, you do you, right? Like, I'm not going to judge you and say like you're a bad person. I'm just going to say like that's not something that I would choose to do. Yeah, I use BattleScribe for sure, because BattleScribe is actually a good program. And it works. And yeah. I'm not going to say you're a bad person. I'm just going to say that's a practice that I wouldn't do, right? I'm actually going to, at some point, I know this is probably going to be like the fucked up topic, but I'm going to have Politics and Plastic, which is like my hot take show. I'm going to do an episode on like forgeries and like ChinaCast and like that kind of stuff. Because it's like, I'd say, just being honest, it's like the big thing that everyone does but no one talks about. And I really want to like deep dive into like the ethics of that, right? Like, because I think that's a lot more prevalent than a lot of people think. And I think, but like everyone pretends that like they don't, but everyone does. I actually, part of my commission today, the Dark Universe commission, I literally got a bunch of resin, I don't even call them recasts. I think they're just 3D printed models that are like ripoffs of GW. They're like heavy intercessors 3D prints, and they're basically just like ripoffs of heavy intercessor models. Like, they don't actually look like recasts of the models. They look like someone took the model, scanned it, and then like 3D printed it. So I have like 15 of those. Like my client actually sent me those to paint as part of his commission, and I'm going to, no problem. So I think that's a really interesting discussion topic, because I think it's really prevalent, and I know like, especially with Forge World being as expensive it is. So Austin, Augustine. I'm hyped. We'll see if it's what I think it is. Like, I'm not. Here's what I say. I love the setting, and I'm not holding out hope though, because I've heard rumors that it's not going to be 28mm scale. I've heard that it's going to be like maybe like the same scale as Titanicus. That's a rumor that I heard. So we'll see. And then the second thing is, yeah, so I love the setting. That was the setting I started playing in. I love Warhammer Fantasy, square bases for life. And then I play Chaos, all Chaos factions for 9th edition. 9th edition, yeah, Chaos. Okay, I'm just gonna, let's see here. What about you? What do you play? Do you live in Vancouver, I presume? Okay, what do I want to do here? I think I'll do a slightly more of a layer on this guy. Another coat, just to give it a nice, better, stronger coat there. 2 thin coats, guys, as they say. Admech and whistles. Yeah, that's a lot, man. I don't know how people can do that. Like, I know when I started, it took me like 4 years to start my second army, I feel. You know, like my first army I collected for like a good 2 to 3 years. And then I didn't start my second army till like, I mean, to be fair, I was like a poor kid. so it's not like I had money for many armies, but yeah, I don't know. I just always felt like I should collect the whole army and like master it and like have all the models. And I know that's basically impossible to like own an entire army, but I'm pretty damn close with Chaos at this point after like 6 years of collecting. Yeah, it's just because like it's hard to get good at a faction if you're playing like 30 different armies. So the thing with Chaos Demons is they have a few builds that are competitive, like the Monster Mash, and sometimes allying in some elements of the Chaos Demons into other factions can be good, but as a pure faction, they're not good. I'll be right back. Shit. Yeah, it's not good as a pure faction, basically. They don't have their book is garbage, and they need a lot of fixes. Oh man, Dark Elves are awesome. Did you read the AOS fluff Shane today from the Warhammer community? So it's like, so Marathi, and I don't know if you guys follow Age of Sigmar, but like Marathi basically is a god now. She's like Marathi Kane. And Malekith, who is her son from Dark Elves, is now called Malarian, and he's like the god of Shadow. And in Age of Sigmar, he hasn't, like there's a Tyrion model now, and there's a Teclis model. There's a Alariel model, and there's like, yeah, anyways. So the story basically, like, he shows up to visit Marathi, Malekith, or Malarian, and like, she's all just like, I don't know if it was like official canon, but I'm pretty sure they were like incestuous in, they were incestuous in the old Dark Elf, like in fantasy, right? Like they basically were banging, Marathi and Malekith, like that was canon, right? Like that was a thing. So anyways, it like, I think they tried to like write some of that out of the fluff, but like they have like a few interactions in the story today, and like it basically alludes to the fact that like they're still like kind of incestuous, like very yeah, it's pretty good, so you should definitely check it out. Yeah, but that's, I mean, the old fluff's the best fluff, right? Anyways, I always thought it was good. I mean, don't get me wrong, as a 14-year-old, Marathi was like a babe in 8th edition. Like her model, she had like, I think one of her models had like tits out basically. I remember the Marathi model, and the actually original Chris Fitzpatrick Witch Elves, I think, were like topless, I believe. Like give me that Cult of Slaanesh, baby, anytime. Oh yeah. I love me some MILF Marathi. She was a babe back then, and still a babe these days. You know, timeless beauty, Marathi. Okay, guys, I think I'm actually gonna call it there. I base coated the cloth, and that's probably as far as I'm gonna get. What brushes are you using? I need new ones, and I have some tax return money to spend. Okay, before I go, I will answer that question. So, my #1 favorite brand of brushes are Rosemary & Co. This brand here, Rosemary & Co. These are like the brushes that I use 90% of the time for most of my good, solid brushes, my favorite brushes. I have many of them. In fact, there's two #2s here, which is weird. Rosemary & Co. Series 33. That's what you want. So Series 33. These are two from Artist Opus. These are a Kickstarter that Artist Opus did. I don't love them. I still use them because I have them. They're not great. This is from Monument Hobbies. It's a bomb wick brush. This is the first time I've used it. It's actually decent so far. And then this is just an old Citadel brush from Games Workshop. I just use for mixing paint. So this is garbage. This is trash basically. If you're interested in getting a good set of brushes, go to Rosemary & Co.'s website and look up it's called Workbench Warriors. Here, you know what? I'm going to link it to you in the chat here. Okay, so check out this set. It's a really solid set. It's got, did that go through? Oh, that's weird. Thanks, Burster. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know why, but my link didn't go through. That's really weird. Anyways, look up the Workbench Warrior set. It's actually really good value. It's like around $50. You get like 8 brushes. They're all mostly sable. There's a few other synthetics in there. It's a really good, like, solid set. And then from there, decide which brushes you like and then get more of that style. So I like the size 1 and the size 0 and size 2 of the Series 33. So I ended up getting just more individual brushes. But Rosemary & Co. is my favorite brand, followed closely by Winsor & Newton Series 7. They're a little bit more pricey, but they're still good brushes. I used to only use those exclusively, or a lot more, but I don't use those as much these days because the Rosemary have taken the top spot. I also have the I have like 6 different brush brands that I use, but Rosemary & Co. Series 33 is my favorite, so definitely go use those. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna log off there. I'm gonna go get ready to head out for dinner. So thanks everyone for tuning in. You guys have been awesome. I probably won't be finishing this till Wednesday, so I will, maybe I'll finish it next week, but maybe not. So with that said, have a great Friday, and I'll see you guys later.